right, so 2009, I think it was fall?
It was winter. It was
winter.
For us. It was December.
Yeah.
Mid December 2009.
Yeah, we went to Mexico City and then Sri Lanka. It was like a little, international mini tour. But anyways, there were a couple of issues with the show in Sri Lanka as far as planning goes. Like, flights hadn't been booked and like there was some weird stuff going on. But anyways, we played Mexico City, a great show, and still hadn't had like our flights booked to Sri Lanka. So we were kind of wondering if we were actually going to be making the show over there. But sure enough, the next day they booked the flights. We flew over there, a long flight. I think it was like a 34
hours. Yeah, to totally get there.
Yeah, it wasn't all fly time, but we had like 16-hour flight, 7-hour layover, 6-hour flight, and then customs and all this stuff, and long day of travel. But we finally got there, and first thing that happened was our gear got stuck in customs because we were probably the first metal band to go over there, and I can't remember how long.
No, we were the first band, period, that had been there since Ricky Martin was there, because they had some sort of civil war for about 8 or 9 years, I think. Don't quote me on this exactly, of course, but
they weren't used to bands coming into the country with like loads of road cases and gear, so they were kind of baffled when they saw it all, and they wanted to tax us and like all this stuff. So, first off, it took us about 3 hours or so to get through customs. But we finally got out, and the idea was to play a show and, spend a couple of days just hanging out, sightseeing, go to the beaches, and just kind of getting to know the locals, I guess. And so we got out of customs. We took a bus to the hotel, and right when we get off the bus, they had like all these dancers and like all this stuff. There's like formal Sri Lankan welcome, and
it's like a ancient tribal dance.
Yeah. So they gave us pretty awesome little greeting. So we were pretty stoked. A little tired after that long of a flight, but it was a nice warm welcome. And so we check into the hotel and kind of hanging out a little bit. And the show was the next day, and I think we had like some sort of little pre-party thing, like meet and greet that night. So we went out that night, and
they had a van. They had been driving around the city with our faces plastered all over the side of it. It was like the oldest, most out-of-date picture, but it's pretty awesome. We have a picture of that too.
It was a fairly big press event for like Sri Lanka, I guess. Like, we don't normally get in like mainstream newspapers or anything like that, but for Sri Lankans, like just ending their civil war and like having an American band come to play there was like a pretty big deal in the news, like mainstream news. So yeah, there's a lot of like odd like little like press things that we did and had our faces on like a van and whatnot.
They presented us with this mosaic made out of precious stones, because Sri Lanka is famous for their precious stone trade, I guess, or something. And I have it at my house actually. It's just this picture. It's the cover of An Ocean Between Us, but it's a mosaic made out of a bunch of different precious stones they got from there, and it actually has a list of how many the amount of stones they used to make it. It's kind of bizarre, but it's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, we hung out the first night, and next day we were supposed to play our first show. We were scheduled to play 2 shows, and wake up in the morning, and there was some sort of issue with the backline, the PA, or the venue, or something, and the first show just got canceled like the day of, and. But no one else, like really, no one there, at least local, seemed to be too bothered by it because, I guess things had been fairly unstable there. So, they're just like, oh, we'll play the show tomorrow, no big deal. And I was like, okay, so we all just kind of hung out for the day, and we kind of wanted to go out and like see the city, and but we were informed not to go outside of the hotel. So we were basically stuck in a hotel, and which was a really nice hotel, which was cool. But so we just hung out at a pool that they had up there, like on.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really is a huge pool. There wasn't really that many people, so it was nice, relaxing. We could get like some drinks by the pool and stuff. But
played some Marco Polo.
Yeah, I played a lot of pool games because that's really all we could do. Pool water did taste like blood, but I won't complain.
But whatever. So we hung out that day and chilled. And we watched a cover band that was playing in the hotel bar. And
my boy Danushka.
Yeah, Danushka. That's right. Yeah, Danushka.
It's our friend.
Yeah. So the next day we were scheduled to play, and we were all kind of wondering like, is this actually going to happen or is it not? So sure enough, we woke up and they're like, yeah, you guys are scheduled to play, and so we went to the venue and started setting up our gear, and gosh, there were probably 30.
30 stagehands.
Yeah, 30 stagehands like running around like we're just kind of like, what the heck are they doing? But we're just kind of confused. They were just kind of confused about the whole process, and
the first thing we see though when we get there is this like massive, probably 30 by 40 foot like wooden backdrop they made for us. It wasn't even, you would think, usually we have a banner that's made out of, like polyester or whatever, but it was made out of wood and painted, I think, and it took like 25 people to lift it into place and stuff, and it's like just kind of for a fly out show, it's definitely something we had not experienced before.
Yeah, but yeah, they like, although it was like kind of a different experience for them, they took it very, very seriously, and they took care of us, like as much as they could, and there was some difficulties there. We had some power issues and stuff. Like it took us, gosh, probably about 3 hours or so to actually get power running to the stage, and but sure enough, we were able to get all our backline working, and sound checked, and just basically played shows. Us and this other band called Nerve Cell, who is from UAE, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the show went great. It actually started raining during our set, unfortunately, and it wasn't really covered, so the crowd got a little wet. But everybody was having a good time, and I
would definitely say it was more like typhooning though. It was like raining really, really hard. Yeah. It was lightning a lot. It was kind of a borderline where in the States they might have canceled it just because it was pretty torrential. Yeah. But
an act of God clause.
Yeah, but they kept it going, luckily.
Yeah, and then during the set, like there's like these little canisters that everybody, like at the front of the stage, everybody was kind of wondering what they were, and we found out shortly into the set that they were actually pyro cannons, and we didn't even know about it, because usually when you have like pyro to show, you kind of like, dude talks to you about safety and like has cues and like doesn't really
like a lot of codes and regulations they have to follow.
There's a guy watching the side of the stage. If you're too close to it, like he'll hit a button that tells him not to throw the fire. And but there was none of that. It was just kind of like, all right, there's fire and it's gonna go off whenever they feel like it's gonna go off, and we have no idea. And there was one that was just, there's one on stage left, and it was just kind of like spurting like lighter, like fluid, and it would just kind of spill over like these little flame drips.
Well, because it was raining outside, so these are fire. They're just canisters of gas that are igniting, and but the one on Phil's side kept trying to ignite while it was raining, but what would happen is the flame would be extinguished and it would just squirt gas all over Phil, and we were all like really concerned when we watched the footage later, like, man, if that would have somehow maybe it ignited while it was spraying on Phil when the wind was blowing towards him. Phil might have had I can't think of a appropriate like burn joke because there's not really one, but
that's true.
Whatever it was, he would have got his face burned off.
Yeah, it was like one of the funnest shows we've had. It was a really, really cool experience. Who gets to go to Sri Lanka? Like, it was so cool for us, and the fans were awesome, and like, really, really stoked that we came. And the people that brought us, like, did everything that they could to make sure that we had a good show and things were comfortable, and obviously did above and beyond their duties, like bringing pyro that we didn't know about, and like huge
precious
banners.
Jewels.
Yeah, precious gems and stuff. Like. But yeah, it was definitely a memorable experience. One I will never ever forget.